Hey guys, I'm Sam and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you my top 10 albums of 2016. As you may already know, 2016 was the year that a lot of bands and artists released new music, and it was just a very exciting time. A lot of bands are going on tour for their new music and whatnot. These top 10 are not necessarily in any particular order, it's just the way that I listed them. However, number one is my favorite band of all time. If you know who I am, if you know a little bit about me, you probably already know what that is. Let's get into my top 10 albums of 2016. I'm gonna start from 10 and just work my way down. Okay, so these are my top 10 albums of 2016. Let's start with number 10. So number 10 is California by Blink-182. It's a jam, good album. I don't know what else to say. It's just a good album. Okay, along with me mentioning my top 10 albums of 2016, I'll recommend 2 songs off of that album for you to go listen to if you have not already listened to this album. However, the 2 songs off of this album that I recommend are Los Angeles and Bored to Death. Los Angeles, that song every once in a while gets stuck in my head, and honestly it's like just, yeah. I wouldn't call myself a super fan, but I just listen to their stuff every once in a while, so don't call me out on anything. Number 9 on my list is Bad Vibrations by A Day to Remember. The 2 songs that I recommend off of that album are Paranoia, which was released as a single, which I have loved since it came out. I jam out to that song like all the time. I'm sorry, it's a good song. And Justified, which is a slower song I believe off of that album, but it's still good. It's good. Trust me. Just go download that. And before I forget, all the links to buy these albums if you want to grab one, I will be in the description. I will link those below. Okay, number 8. Number 8 off my top 10 albums of 2016 is Misadventures by Pierce the Veil. This has been a long-awaited album from the fans, obviously. We've waited forever. The 2 songs off of this album that I will be recommending are Circles, which I believe was also released as a single, and Floral and Fading. I don't know, I guess those are my 2 favorites off of the album, so go download it. They're a good band, I promise. Number 7 on my top 10 albums of 2016 is Dissonance by Hands Like Houses. They are from Australia, and Dissonance is like the only album that I've really heard from them, only because I've just recently discovered them like last year, and I found out they were on Warped Tour after Warped Tour was over, and I was like, oh, I could have seen them, but I guess not. But their other stuff is good too, I promise. Like, it's not like I haven't listened to it all. I've dabbled. It's good, I promise. 2 songs that I recommend off of Dissonance are Colorblind and Degrees of Separation. I believe The Script also has a song called Degrees of Separation, but the one by Hands Like Houses is a lot different, and it's good, I promise. Like I said, I keep saying that, I don't know, but it's good. Just go listen. And number 6 off of my top 10 albums of 2016 is Cold World by Of Mice and Men. I've been a fan of them for a while. Feels like just last month they released that other album that I forgot the name of. Restoring Force. That's what it was called. So yeah, it feels like only last month they released Restoring Force. Like, even the deluxe edition, it didn't feel like it came out in 2014, but so the 2 songs off of Cold World that I will recommend that are basically my favorites are The Lie and Contagious. Those are my favorites off of the album, so go give them a listen, or just download the whole album. Oh, or listen to Pain. That was, I think, the first single off of the album. Good album. Okay, just go. I know I don't really have much to say about these albums, but I don't know, they're just good albums. There's stuff I recommend. This is stuff I recommend. It's just stuff I think is good. I don't go into the details. It's just me. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not, but if you want to see a more comprehensive review of these albums, go watch somebody else's. I mean, if this isn't for you, fine, you don't have to watch. But let's keep moving. Okay, but number 5 off of my top 10 albums of 2016 is Headspace by Issues. I was just about to call it the album Issues, but no, that's the band. Okay. When this came out, I believe I pre-ordered it, and then I downloaded and I heard it, and I was like, this is so good. So the two songs off of Headspace that I will recommend to you are Young and Dumb and Hero. Or just the rest of the album. The Realist is a good song too, so is Coma, Blue Wall. If you don't know what I'm talking about, click that link below and go download the album Headspace by Issues. It's good, I promise. Number 4 off of my top 10 albums of 2016 is Double Dare by Waterparks. Just, if you haven't heard of Waterparks, because they're still a fairly new band, that go give them a listen. They're more of a pop punk, while all this other stuff is kind of more on the heavier side. This whole, like, I can't stop listening to this whole album. I would recommend the whole album, but like I said, I recommend 2. So the 2 songs that I have on repeat basically are Gloom Boys and Made in America. Those songs are like my favorite, but like the whole album is my favorite. If you don't know what I'm talking about, again, just click the link and download Double Dare. The artwork is pretty cool too. I mean, this album just came out like last month too. I think November 4th it came out. I mean, that says a lot. I'm still listening to it like on repeat. Like, I haven't got sick of it yet. Number 3 on my top 10 albums of 2016 was also an album that I did a review of, and if you haven't seen that video, click the link down below and go watch it. It has over 500 views, so thank you for that, because I did not expect it to get over like 20 views, honestly. But did I mention the album yet? If I didn't, it's Revolution Radio by Green Day. I like died in the process because it was such a good album. It is a good album. I still listen to it. And the 2 songs off of that album that I would recommend are Still Breathing, which I still haven't watched the music video to, so if you want me to react to that, leave a comment down below, and Somewhere Now, which is the first song off the album. It starts off slow and then it gets up there like I died like so many times. Okay, so here we are, the top 2 of my top 10 albums 2016. Let's just get into it. Top 2. I love these 2 albums so much. So number 2 on my top 10 albums of 2016 is Chaos by Attila, and I know, shameless self-promo, right? But I also did a review of this album, so if you haven't checked that out, click the link down below and go watch it. It's a bit different than my Green Day one, but I'm sure you'll like it just the same. The 2 songs off of that album that I will recommend to you to listen to are Public Apology and Mosh Pit. Both of those songs are just like, you would literally start a mosh pit to both of those songs, and like Mosh Pit is the name of one of those songs. Okay, I'm not really gonna go into much detail because there is a review on my channel of it, so you can see my reaction to me reviewing it. And I'm so excited to say my number 1 favorite album. Okay, so my number 1 favorite album of 2016, if you couldn't already guess by me in the beginning of the video, is Aggressive by Beartooth. I may be a bit biased only because Beartooth is my favorite band. However, I do believe this album is solid. Like, I listen to like all their stuff, honestly. Since this is my number 1 album of 2016, I wrote down 4 songs to recommend instead of 2 because honestly, I would just recommend the whole album to you. The 4 songs that I have written down that I will recommend that are my favorites off the album, even though the whole album is my favorite, are Hated, which is played on the radio sometimes. It's a single. It's still good. Why do I say it's still good? It's always good. What? Burnout, Rock is Dead, and However You Want It Said. Now, when this album came out, but I pre-ordered this album, came out June 3rd. I don't know how I still remember that. And the night it came out, I can't go to bed until I listen to this album. So, put some headphones on and listen to it, and I was like dying. Like, I already heard Aggressive and Hated maybe? Because they did release those as singles before the album came out, I believe. I know Aggressive was. I'm not too sure about Hated, but because it was like months ago. But anyway, I already heard those, so I was like, oh, this is really good. And then a song like Burnout came on, and the beginning of that song was just like, it wakes, for some, it like woke me up even more. Like, I got so hyped. I was dying. It's so good. Like, I was like, look at this is like I have that, and I have some shirts, and like Beartooth is my favorite band. So like, I recommend the whole thing. Please go download it. I'll leave a link to that and all the other albums I mentioned down below. But like, yeah, so that's number 1 is Aggressive by Beartooth. They are my favorite band. I was literally lying in bed, just lying, and I was like dying. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And like, song like Burnout came on. No, when Rock is Dead came on, I was like flailing in my bed because I was so happy to finally have this album. It came out. I was so happy. I was dying because it was so good. So yeah, if you had to pick one album out of this 10 that I recommended, or is my top 10 basically, I honestly recommend Aggressive and Double Dare. Aggressive by Beartooth and Double Dare by Waterparks. Even though Double Dare was number 4, it's still a good album. How about this? I wrote down my top 10, and I was like, wait, there are 2 other albums that came out in 2016 that I still have to acknowledge, because they are good albums. The 2 other albums that I had written down that came out this year that I still love, and even though they aren't in my top 10, I still listen to, and those 2 are Continuance by The New Low and The Home Inside My Head by Real Friends. Burning Bridges on that album off of Continuance by The New Low. That is such a good song. I'm saying that about like everything, but like, I'm serious. Like, it's a good song. Go listen to it. I believe there's a music video to it too. And The Home Inside My Head, Scared to Be Alone, and Mess are great songs. Real Friends is more pop punk, and The New Low is more rock metal-ish vibes. That was my top 10 albums of 2016. So that's it. Those are my top 10 albums of 2016. I'm sure some of you watching this don't know any of these bands, if maybe 1 or 2, but you should just go check them out, because I'm sure you'll find a favorite off of these top 10 maybe. I don't know, just a suggestion. I will link each of those albums down below in the description, like I said before, so you can go directly to iTunes and download them and not have to search them up yourself. It'll just be easier. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and tell me your top 10 albums of 2016. Maybe there's some overlap between mine and yours. I mean, who knows? And if it's totally different, that's cool too. You're entitled to your own opinion, and there are so many different genres of music that it's bound to be different. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an upload. I mean, even so, I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.